the sky starts to change, yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. Brought to you, of course, by Animal We Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast. Welcome, everybody, to our Friday night coverage of the Smack Diggity Downs. Another week, another 3-hour show that's never going to be ending. And by God, was this show... Okay, I'll say this. This show was at least a little better than last week. I'll say that much. But not by much. It's like, instead of adding like 5 points to the show numbers, you added maybe like 1 or 2, maybe 1.5. We'll do like a 1.5 split with that. Yeah, this show was it was not hitting in a lot of parts, which sucks because like the opening of the show was really good, and then beyond that, maybe a couple other standout moments here and there, but we'll get into all that as the show progresses. Welcome, of course, everybody, to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. I see some people in the chat, our normal viewers coming back and all that, hanging out. So love to see you guys. Love to see you, Moose, JJ Styles. I see you out there as well. Be sure to follow along with us, join in on the conversation, like the stream as always, so that way we know, hey, this content's pretty dang good. And even if you dislike it, hey, that's still cool too, because that means you're interacting with us, and we love all of that. But for any of you newcomers out there, well, who are we exactly? Well, of course, I am your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins here. I'm here to help guide us through all of these matches, all these segments that we had throughout the night. And of course, to my left, we have who is known as the genius of the mat himself. Drop this box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, and like you said, I mean, this show, I've been doing pretty good for the past couple of shows. What I've just been sticking with my water, but I definitely needed some coffee tonight because, like, I was bored throughout the show. I was falling asleep. I really wasn't paying attention to everything.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, when it comes to the show, I'll give my thoughts on that sort of thing I paid attention to, but it's like I just didn't really feel the sort of buzz I was expecting heading into this. So that kind of let me down.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Cody coming back.
Yeah.
The okay, our Money in the Bank matches, at least, well, one of them was really good. We'll talk about the other one here
Yeah.
later on. But yeah, with like all the hype that was kind of going into this show, yeah, it was kind of a letdown in a few spots and all that. But we'll dive into those here in just a moment. But we're gonna start with our Money in the Bank qualifying matches, because that's going to be our main headline stories
Yep.
going into the next week or so. Because hey, that's got the most story going on for it. That's got the most meat to the stick right now for us to talk about. We had two qualifying matches tonight. One for the men, one for the women. We had Jacob Fatu taking on Andrade and Carmelo Hayes, and then on the women's side, we had Naomi taking on Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. Let's start with the men first. First of all, I thought this was actually one of the better matches of the night, if not match of the night. At least for me, I thought it was really good from the action I was seeing and all that. We had some setup throughout the night with like Jacob Fatu coming in with Solo and JC Mateo. He didn't really interact with them too much, just kind of said, "Hey, I'm gonna do this on my own. I don't need you guys' help," which you're already kind of telling us, hey, they're going to get involved somehow and try to quote unquote help. So thank you for letting us know with that, WWE. And then we had this little backstage segment with The Miz and Carmelo. Miz trying to hype up Carmelo, and Carmelo just being like, look, I didn't get here because of you. Like, yeah, you helped me during the battle royal that we had for WrestleMania weekend, but I got here on my own, like,
Yep.
and I'm gonna win this on my own. But I mean, obviously, again, the Miz is gonna get involved, which he did, but he was easily taken out by Jacob Fatu during the match. I guess let's start with these segments before the match itself. Like, what was your takeaway with like this Miz Carmelo part? Because like at first I thought, okay, this is gonna be Melo's way of actually getting over in this match and moving on to the Money in the Bank ladder match, but now I guess maybe the story now going forward is like, hey, maybe you kind of need the Miz's help, even though he was saying I don't need it. But
Yeah.
I guess we're going to continue their little partnership here going on. But and then with like the whole Jacob Solo stuff, which we into here as well, like just Jacob trying to like push them aside and do things more on his own rather than with the family's help. So, what were your takeaways from these backstage segments?
So I do like how they are teasing like Mello splitting up from the Miz, because I feel like the whole thing going on with Carmelo Hayes right now, at least to me, is him trying to figure out who he is again. And I feel like, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the pairing, I feel like the reason why he's paired up with Miz is to find out exactly, okay, who I am so I can get back on track again. And I feel like with the kind of, things that he's been able to achieve for these, past couple weeks or so,
Mhm.
he's starting to realize that when it comes to him being in a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank, when it comes to him winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So I feel like with those things in mind, it's slowly starting to get to him where it's like, you know what? I've been able to do this without the Miz's help and everything, because one of the things that you got to know about the Miz when it comes to these sort of pairings that he's had, because he's done it with several people when it came like one person that comes to mind for sure is, what went on with Tommaso Ciampa when Tommaso Ciampa came back, how Miz was so buddy-buddy with him, and then eventually down the line, he just ended up, manipulating that person just to get what he wants. I believe he did a similar thing with Logan Paul as well when he was originally brought up and everything. So that's pretty much just another story that we're seeing here, but instead of those people that I mentioned, it's with Carmelo Hayes. And I feel like that's probably what we're seeing here, where he's going to eventually, because we even saw Miz, even say a few things in that backstage segment where he's like, we're doing this for me. Like he kept bringing up himself and everything, and like that's definitely a red flag, and that's the reason why Carmelo brought up those sort of comments. And I'm glad that Carmelo was being blunt about the situation instead of just being, completely oblivious to it, where it's like, you know what, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, I like how he was just laying it out. He was telling him how he feels and everything. So I like how we don't really have like, someone acting a little silly, not really paying attention to their surroundings. So that's something I can appreciate here. So I feel like he was honestly my pick to win this thing, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Same here.
So
and when I'm not upset. I'm not upset with Andrade winning.
Yeah, me either. That was a surprise to me because as much as I love Andrade, they just don't utilize him as much. So it's hard for me to really believe that they'll do something for him. Nothing on him, but the creative doesn't really convince us that we got a lot of plans with these guys, because this isn't a new thing, but they're not known to have like the best track record when it comes to booking luchadors. They're starting to get into that zone ever since Penta came into the picture earlier this year, and you're starting to see that the AAA acquisition, starting to see the whole Worlds Collide thing, that the whole big thing that they had there where everybody was present to announce the whole entire thing. So it's like, it's good to see that, and I'm glad with the winner and everything. But just to go back to what we were talking about, those are my thoughts on like the whole Miz thing, and then the stuff that's going on with Jacob Fatu. Again, similar thing with Melo. Obviously, they're not the same characters, but he's being blunt. He's telling them exactly what he's been telling them the past couple times, even before JC Mateo came into the picture, where he's like, I'm doing this on my own. I don't need you. And if you look at Jacob Fatu, you obviously know he's telling the truth there. He's not going to sugarcoat or anything. Even without him saying it, I look at him, I was like, yeah, that's definitely a guy that can take care of, whatever heads down his direction. So it's like that's definitely something that's probably going to come into the picture, probably heading into the summer. Like, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we get some sort of program, either it's solo or it's JC Mateo at SummerSlam. Sort of leaning towards him and Solo. That makes the most sense, but you're definitely seeing like more and more cracks every single day, especially with the crash out that we saw a little bit after the match.
And just to kind of backtrack a little bit with like the Miz and Carmelo, I like how not only was Carmelo blunt, but he did try to like reel Miz back in. So like he's not fully going against the Miz right now. He's not like actually kicking him to the curb yet, because he did do the whole "oss him" kind of thing with the Miz. So still coaxing him and still trying to keep him in there, but like also reminding Miz, hey, first of all, it's not just about you. It's me. Like, I'm the one that's going into this match, not you. And it kind of just makes Melo feel more like, okay, I want to still keep you around, but hey, I need to do this on my own. I need to show that I am still him, because I know I am. But don't go too far away, Miz. Like, you're still fine and all that. At least at this point. But hey, again, I gotta be blunt with you, dude. It's not about you, it's about me, okay? And the same with like Jacob Fatu, but like you said, we've been seeing that for weeks now, and it just kind of all started to culminate in this match where because Jacob Fatu had this match won. Like, he hit that moonsault and he could have gone for the pin if it wasn't for Solo being out there and be like, yeah, go hit it again. And I get why Jacob just kind of stopped and paused, because it's just like, why? I have this match won. I don't need and all that. Like you don't need to coax the monster or the beast in this instance to do this move again. And I think what really kind of ticked Jacob off, it was the fact that JC Mateo got up on the apron and started yelling at him to do it. Because
Yeah.
already Jacob doesn't like JC.
No.
So it's like, the hell are you doing up here? Why are you telling me what to do?
Yeah, exactly. It's just gonna come into like we're eventually gonna get into like one of those situations where it's like he's gonna get so fed up with this guy, either he's outside the apron again or something goes wrong, and that guy's just gonna eat a super kick. They're gonna get into a match. It's obviously gonna be good because I do have high expectations for that match. I think it's gonna go pretty well whenever we get it. And after that door gets knocked down, I mean, there's only one other destination left, and that's Solo Sikoa, and I feel like once we're done with that, whenever we do get to it, we'll obviously talk about it more on our shows. That's when we could really see Jacob Fatu, do his thing. But I mean, they're pretty much like messing with the bull right now. It's almost like the guy with like the red blanket or whatever you want to call it, the little red flag. Not entirely sure what the name of it is, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's like you're messing with the bull with the horns. That's Jacob Fatu. I mean, they should know this by now. I mean, they hyped him up because of all the kind of shit that he got into, how he's like a criminal and all that. So it's like, I mean, like, oh yeah, JC Mateo, he's a pretty strong guy, but I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, I seen how Jacob Fatu got. He went up against Braun Strowman. He kicked his ass. He had him bleed. I mean, you should play your cards right with this one because once I see him and Solo in the ring, I mean, Solo better pray that isn't a fucking cage match, because he's gonna get fucking dragged all around that damn thing.
Yeah, no, he better pray that he isn't in a cage with Jacob Fatu. Like, because if Solo ends up in a cage with Fatu, nah, he's done. It is over with. He's gonna turn into a bunch of French fries as he goes through the cage. And don't worry, the stipulation for that cage match, Jesse Ventura, will be pinfall and submission, no escaping. So Solo won't win by escaping the cage through French fry central, going through the cage and all that. But yeah, I mean, again, like with the match itself, I thought it was really good because again, like Carmelo and Andrade, they have great in-ring chemistry. I still feel like we're building up towards because I know we haven't really mentioned their whole best of 7 series or whatever they were doing last year, but I feel like we're still building up towards that final match because we keep having them in these multi-man matches facing off against each other, especially with the Andre John. I'm pretty sure I think there was another qualifying triple threat match that they were both a part. It was the US title thing, I think, for facing off with Jacob Fatu. They were in there with LA Knight again. So they keep crossing paths with each other, and I think it's gonna get to a point because Melo's gonna realize that he keeps losing because of Andrade, and you just can't shake off that Andrade vortex. I mean, granted, I say vortex, but it's not anything like the bloodline vortex, for example. But it's I guess maybe a whirlpool in a way. You're playing Pokemon Gold and Silver and trying to get into the little islands that Lugia is in, and there's those whirlpools that just keep getting in your way. It's just God, can I just teach a Pokemon Whirlpool so I can get through this? That's Carmelo Hayes right now. He needs to get that HM of Whirlpool and take care of the Andrade Whirlpool that he keeps finding himself in whenever it comes to a qualifying match or a number one contenders match or anything. But at least with this one, we have the added addition of Jacob Fatu in it. And even though they were trying to have a classic singles match, Jacob was just gonna keep inserting himself and keep dominating when he did. But again, match ended with Solo basically distracting Jacob. At least Big Jim came out to take care of JC for a bit, but it's not enough when Andrade kicks Fatu out of the ring and then hits his finisher on Melo and gets the win. So again, I'm not upset with who won it because all 3 men, I think, in the match deserve to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match, deserve that opportunity to even get that thing. I'm more shocked, I think, because I would have preferred, at least for me, to have Jacob in the match, but it does make sense this way because it's like this adds more tension between him and Solo and all that. And I mean, it sucks that Carmelo had to take the pin, but hey, somebody had to be the fall guy in this, and Jacob Fatu is not going to be getting pinned anytime soon.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't have any issues with the winner. It was mainly I was just shocked because, I mean, we've been like really pushing for Andrade to do something in the company. So it's like when we least expect it and it happens, it just catches us off guard sometimes. So it's like I'm happy for him. He gets a time to shine here because it didn't look like he was participating in the AAA event. Otherwise, he probably would have been a part of that. We would have saw some graphic of like some sort of match that's happening because a lot of the people that aren't part of the Money in the Bank, granted, a certain lady might qualify, might be doing double duty, so I can't really put that down. Yeah, because she's done it before, so if she wants to do it again, it's early in the afternoon. I'm pretty sure the venues aren't far away from each other.
I don't think so.
But it's like, I mean, it gives him something to do, and if he's not at that show, at least he's doing something throughout the week and everything. But yeah, when I looked at this initially, I thought it was Mello, then I thought about it with Jacob Fatu because I was thinking of it of like a similar situation because, just to throw this out here, chat, we'll talk about it more on Monday. You got CM Punk in a qualifying match with AJ Styles and El Grande Americano. So when I looked at that, I'm like, wow, that would be pretty interesting if you had tension going on with CM Punk and Seth. So I was thinking, with the Jacob Fatu and Solo thing, you could tease even more tension because that's where my head was thinking initially is that they weren't going to win, but there would be some tension building there, and that would pretty much bring us to the next stage of whatever they're supposed to be doing with this, potential feud down the line between the both of these guys. But I mean, congrats to Andrade. I'm glad I saw something that was unexpected, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I guess one thing you could throw in there as well, you got Penta and Andrade there, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna spend some time working together in there. I'm gonna keep saying it until it happens. I can see Penta hitting a Mexican Destroyer with on top of those ladders. Just
and it could be on Andrade. Like,
yeah,
who knows? I mean, Andrade would probably take a bump like that. He's crazy enough to do that. Oh man, but like from one Money in the Bank qualifying match to another, that was kind of a little different this match of the night, so to say. But before we get into that match itself, this has another caveat, a little asterisk with it, as Bianca Belair was making her return to SmackDown tonight. And I don't know if I'm sure you noticed it too. She still does have like the bandages on her hand. So I don't think her fingers have fully healed from being broken, but she's at least able to be here at work and cut a promo and all that, so that's nice. And she kind of goes on, she's like, hey, I'm home, I'm here in my safe space, and I kind of needed that after everything that was going on leading up to WrestleMania. She mentions that she's now like that was her first loss at WrestleMania, so I kind of like that little acknowledgement. And she just trying to just relax and just kind of reset her mind a little bit, and she doesn't get too far into her promo when Naomi comes out. And this might be probably one of my favorite moments of the night. Like, yeah, we already talked about what match of the night probably was. This might be my favorite moment though, because Naomi just goes full on yandere. Where like she's telling Bianca, hey, all I want is your forgiveness. And like I've done so much to try to like talk to you. I've sent texts, I've tried to call, left messages, all that stuff. I even ended up going to your parents' house tonight. And like Bianca's parents are just chilling ringside and all that. And they're just like they're kind of like nonchalant about it, but you can tell like just with their old acting, they're trying to act, which okay, fine, whatever. It's fine with you guys. But yeah, so Naomi apparently broke into Bianca's parents' house and started looking at photo albums and was just, wow, you used to be really happy. Why can't we be happy like that again? Like best friends and all that stuff. Yeah, it was kind of sickening in a way, but like in a good way. And Bianca just responds, "Hey, no, don't do that. Like, I don't want anything to do with you anymore." And again, Naomi just getting into yandere mode, being like, "All right, fine. I'm gonna put you and your mom in a wheelchair. How's that gonna look?" Uh, yeah, I thought this was an awesome segment. Again, Naomi going full on crash out mode here, full on crazy too. Like I really enjoyed it. Um, and yeah, I mean, this leads into the match because obviously Jade comes out and then Nia comes out and all that. We'll get into the match here in a little bit. What do you think of this like opening segment with like Bianca coming back, with Naomi coming out, continuing this story? Uh, yeah, what did you think of all this?
So I'm glad to see Bianca back because it's been quite some time since we've seen her. So that's a good
Mhm.
thing. So you have another big name thrown in there when it comes to a lot of the ladies that are a part of SmackDown when it comes to big names, because she definitely is a big name, arguably
Mhm.
probably top three most important ladies on there at this moment when it comes to, if you want to put them into some stories or matches that people really want to see out of them. I mean, there you go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't really notice at first when I was like looking at her coming out when it came to the whole finger thing, but that does make
Mhm.
sense because they probably have her there doing what she can for right now when it comes to cutting promos or just being in segments of people. And
Right.
I feel like it might come to one of those things where eventually, when the time is right and they start pushing an angle between her and Naomi, that's when you obviously find out, oh, yeah, I'm cleared. I'm able to do this and that and everything. But when it comes to the whole thing with Naomi, I was a big fan of this because I really like Naomi as a heel, and I mean, honestly, I kind of wish she won her match at WrestleMania to really continue that momentum, because after WrestleMania for a little bit, it kind of went away, but
Mhm.
then we saw little bits and pieces of it in these like vignettes or sort of interactions that she's having with people. But I really like this, so I am looking forward to whenever the time is right when it comes to that eventual Bianca and Naomi feud. I'm really looking forward to seeing exactly like what's going to come out of that.
Mhm.
And when it comes to the match itself, I mean, I thought it was an all right match when it comes to what it was, and the stuff that Naomi was saying about her parents and everything. I like how you have that little edge when it comes to really getting to a point you can kind of blend reality with fiction when it comes to those sort of things, because
Mhm.
sometimes like when you pour that stuff in there, it makes the story more intriguing. Like, okay, why is she doing this? Why is she going to
Yeah.
these lengths? What is she trying to prove? And another thing I do want to mention, like outside of Naomi, because what she did tonight was great, and I'm glad she qualified. She's my personal pick for the Money in the Bank this year. But when it
Okay.
comes to, mainly because you have this whole thing where it's like she wants to settle down and have kids soon. So I was like, you know what? Give her the thing, have her do it, whatever, and then have her settle down, have kids, because she did mention, she's not getting any younger. And sometimes
Mhm.
the ladies probably want to start families, but they don't want to put that on the line when it comes to being at a show every single week. So I understand that, because
Yeah.
that definitely is a cloud over your shoulder when it comes to that. So I understand that sort of mindset. But thing I am very curious about is, even though she's obviously expressed herself towards Naomi when it comes to Bianca tonight, when it comes to how she was laying everything down not to provoke her, and if you continue doing it, whatever you did to Jade is going to be like a million times worse. One of the things
Mhm.
that I'm interested again in, because they keep teasing it, that I haven't said anything to each other, is Bianca and Jade, because Bianca knows
Yeah.
that Jade didn't do anything wrong. So why aren't they talking? It's not like Jade did anything behind her back and
Mhm.
backstabbed her or anything. It was all Naomi, and she obviously expressed her frustration with Naomi. And she even looked at Jade that one time when the reveal was there, and she just let Jade just throw Naomi around like a rag doll. So I'm just wondering in my head, is like, is there something more here? Like, is there some
Um.
sort of like minds? Is there like something going on in Bianca's head where she's like, even though Jade wasn't a part of this, she still has those thoughts in her head where it's like, even though I choose not to believe it, are the people, saying these things to me actually starting to make me feel split on how I personally feel about this person, considering all the drama surrounding around them, because they eventually have to do that Bianca and Jade feud. That was the whole reason why this pairing was a thing to begin with, and we'll get to that whenever we do, but that's something that I've noticed, because it's like, if you notice somebody's innocent, okay, you can talk to them and stuff, but they haven't said a word. They just look at each other.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna tie back to because there was a comment made while Jade was gone about how they've tried to text her and call her and she wasn't answering. So it could be something where like maybe that was actually a lie, where like Bianca actually wasn't reaching out to her and all that. Like
Yeah.
maybe there was a part of Bianca that was actually kind of glad that Jade was gone and not overshadowing her.
Yeah.
Which we could get into just a little bit, because like that's the thing, like, and I mentioned this too as we were talking about with like Naomi and Jade, not Naomi and Jade, Naomi and Bianca. While they were a team, it seemed like Bianca was a little bit happier, like kayfabe obviously,
Yeah.
but she was a little bit happier with Naomi being her partner than with Jade. And you can kind of tell with like their in-ring work together and like their teamwork too with everything. Like you kind of tell that just in the matches they were having and how they were interacting with everybody. Where like you kind of compare with like Bianca and Jade, it's like, yeah, we're getting along, we're friends, but like it was nothing like Naomi and Bianca were. And so there's probably some like bad there's probably just some animosity towards Bianca for that from Jade's side, just being like, hey, you were really cool with her, and you seem to still be really cool with her. I know you're not really talking to her, but I mean, what the hell, you know? And then again, they could always go back to the whole aspect of, oh well, we tried contacting you. Oh, did you now? Because I have the receipts, and there are no receipts because you didn't, you know. So it could be something like that. But like you said, we'll get to that when we get to it. The eventual feud between Jade and Bianca. But again, after the beat down from Jade when she came out to beat down Naomi, Nia Jax comes out because they're in a triple threat match for, again, a spot in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And this match was okay. There there were some rough spots here and there. And it was mainly just slow, you know, because I mean, because that's the thing. You have two powerhouses in Nia and Jade, and I mean, Jade can have some any match or team that she's part of, and Nia's the same way, except she's a little slower, you know, and that's just the type of person she is. And Naomi, even though she's a heel, she's wrestling more like a heel now, and so a heel in WWE isn't really going to be doing too many fast-paced, high-flying moves and all that. They'll still do it. It's just, you know, it's more of like a dead shot kind of thing. But yeah, this is when the night kind of started dipping for me, because it's like they started having this match. It's like, okay, it's not really going anywhere. Especially with like the start of the match with Naomi just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna chill on the outside for forever. And then they tried to team. They did this. They did that thing where it's like, oh yeah, let's team up in a triple threat match. Oh, but that's the best strategy, isn't it? No, it's not, because every single time, once you guys are done with the other person, all right, let's both fight. But here's the thing with that: you give the third person time to recover from the two-person beatdown, and then they're beating you down. It's like,
Yeah.
what was that for? Like, come on, people, come on. But I will say this: I like the finish of the match. I really like that a lot. With Nia Jax, like she stacked up both Bianca and Naomi on top of each other, and she was gonna go for her Annihilator finisher, but Naomi rolled out of the way. That way, Nia hit Jade Cargill with her finisher, and then Naomi. I mean, she kind of struggled a little bit with the crucifix pin and all that, but she at least had it tight enough to where it was believable that Nia Jax was not kicking out of that. And yeah, Naomi picked up the win and qualified for the Money in the Bank. again, I thought it was kind of slow, kind of plotting it a lot of times, but I will at least commend the finish for what it was. But what about you, Drop? What did you think of the match?
So I thought the match itself was, okay. Wasn't anything crazy because, I mean, the whole reason why I was really invested in this match is because I wanted to see Naomi win because, like, I mean, when it comes to somebody that really needed a direction ever since heading into the company, she definitely needed it. She wanted that second chance to really shine, and she found her footing, heading into WrestleMania when it came to this new character run that she's currently doing. And obviously, we spoke about the whole segment between her and Bianca. So when it came to the match itself, it was okay. They were able to do what they needed to do in order to push through to really see, okay, who's going to come out on top, who's going to qualify for Money in the Bank. And I thought it was smart with what Naomi did at the end, because normally outside of Tiffany Stratton that was smart enough to reach out and touch the top and touch the rope to cause a rope break to really get out of that. Normally when you get hit by the Annihilator, that's pretty much like a TKO. So she took that advantage. Jade's out of the picture, and Nia Jax is caught off guard because she just hit it. Now she's getting rolled up and she's being put into position where she's like, okay, where did this come from? And then you had Naomi steal the win here. So I thought that was nice. I thought that was really cool to see. Even the whole little segment that we had in the back of her and Tiffany was interesting to see exactly, like, okay, planting seeds there, or just causing tension between her and the champion to really show, like, okay, you've already seen what I'm capable of when it comes to Jade, Bianca, so wait and see what's gonna happen when it comes to you and me.
Yeah.
So I do like what they're doing here.
And then also, like, because and it's very short too. Alexa Bliss did come by too as well to be like, hey, don't forget I'm here. I'm part of the match, and I'm also looking at that title. So
Yep.
I at least I like how we're at least incorporating the contestants of the Money in the Bank, already teasing with the champion, because it's like it kind of puts into your mind, okay, anyone can really win this match. Anyone
Yeah.
realistically can win these matches and all that. So it's like, okay, let's start planting like multiple seeds now for whoever could be winning the match. So like, let's have Naomi and Alexa interact uh uh, with Tiffany and all that, and we'll probably get the same on Monday with those ladies over there going up to Io, being like, hey, I might cash in on you. You might want to watch it back.
Yeah.
I'm gunning for you and all that. So that'll be great to see when we
And-
get to that eventual winner. And like, again, I just
yeah.
appreciate that they're at least
Yeah.
trying, because like there was a report earlier today that came out. I don't know if you saw this, and I'll just mention it real quick here, that like Triple H apparently doesn't like the concept of Money in the Bank, um, which I'm not gonna lie, you can kind of tell just by how he's treated it in the past few years. Um, but I think he is at least trying this time around,
hmm
and at least making it a little more intriguing going into Money. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I did see that floating around.
Mm.
And I might as well throw this in here since she does
Yeah.
follow the whole segment of like talking about Money in the Bank and the qualifiers and all that, but that whole segment with Julia, where she was speaking
Mhm.
English all the way throughout that little vignette that was playing backstage, because normally
Mhm.
you have them speaking half and half when it comes to somebody saying a little English, some Japanese, English, some Japanese. I know one of the things that she wanted to do, similar to Stephanie, she wanted to get her footing into NXT to really get used to the system. Outside of that, with Julia, she also wanted to work more on her English because obviously that's not her first language. And you could see right here the way that she was speaking throughout this vignette and pretty much just
Yeah.
showing us as the audience, like, okay, this is who I am. This is my goal that I want to achieve. Like, I want these people to know what I'm going after. I mean, I thought that was really good. She spoke
Yeah.
very good English. She only said one thing in Japanese towards the end, but that was probably like the little cherry on top. What probably
Exactly.
wasn't anything to take away with what she said, but it's like I really loved that vignette because that's the kind of stuff that you need. So the funny thing about that is, even though she was speaking English, didn't have any issues, wasn't struggling. I found it funny how they still had subtitles there. She didn't really use them because you could understand what she was saying the entire time when that thing was going on. And then also another thing to throw in here as well is, you know, right after her segment, we already know what Julia is heading towards next, which we'll obviously talk about the whole Zelina and the Chelsea Green situation a little bit. Yeah, pretty much a little bit, a little bit further. But we already know her direction. And I feel like me and you already pointed that out, where it's like, you know what? She pinned her to get in here. We don't expect her to win the thing. She's obviously going to have a good showcase so the audience can get behind her and know her a little bit better. But we already know what the next mission is, and that's her getting that U.S. title. So I thought that was really touching with the way that they threw that in there.
Yeah. I really like how they did that. And like you said, her English has come a long way. And they didn't really need the subtitles, but I at least appreciate them because I'm sure there are people out there that still probably struggled understanding her, but that's just because we're all different and all that. So, you know, just gotta cater to everybody as best as you can and all. So more Money in the Bank qualifiers. We got our final ones on Monday. They're probably gonna be I mean, considering who's in them. I mean, the men's one, you've got El Grande Americano, who is a legend in business. You've got AJ Styles, who is again another legend of the business. And of course CM Punk, who's a legend of the business. So already 3 legends in one match. And then you got Stephanie Vaquer, who is now a Raw superstar. So, you know, kind of playing off of what happened on NXT this past week. And what we talked about last night, too, on Grappling with the Week. But you got Stephanie Vaquer, you got Liv Morgan, and now I'm blanking on who the third
Ivy Nile
was. Ivy Nile, that's right. So, guess who might be eating the pin? Not to be like that, but I mean.
Yeah.
Unless watch they swerve us and have Ivy win and go in.
That'd be crazy. Like I like that'd be pretty crazy over like 2 top girls. That's probably the biggest win of her career as of the moment on that main roster if she went through both of them. But I don't know. I just have this weird feeling that even though a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Liv and everything, and that could very well happen, it's just this thing where it's like once they introduce these new characters to the roster, when it comes to bringing Julia over, bringing Roxanne over, it's kind of hard for me to bet against it because it's like they gave it to Roxanne, they gave it to Julia. Why wouldn't they give it to Stephanie?
Yeah. No, I get that, but I think here's one thing to think about too. We're gonna be getting a stare off with Julia and Stephanie.
Yeah, it's another thing that we'll see.
Yeah, they have some unfinished business. Like that's, you know, I look at that and it's very, for me, it's very similar to I think it was 2017 or 2018, one of those years of Money in the Bank, where okay, thinking about it more, I think it was 2017, where we got the tease of AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura, like staring off, and like it was just a moment where it's just like, oh crap, these two are staring off with each other.
Yep.
Oh, things just picked up, and I mean, you know, history has told us now them in WWE was, but like with Stephanie and Julia in this match, kind of gives me similar vibes. It's like, oh, when we get that stare down, and when you know what that means, oh man, that's got me just salivating at that thought. But I'm kind of on the same boat. I don't know if I don't think she's gonna be in that, but if she is, it might be like very similar to what you said about Julia. Just give the main roster another chance to learn who Stephanie Vaquer is.
Yep. Imagine giving her devil's kiss on the ladder.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time. Horrible time for taking that, but you know, I'm taking that move. Oh man. But again, that's, you know, our Money in the Bank qualifiers for the night. Let's go into some of these other segments that we're probably not going to be talking too long about.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh man, so neither of our world titles are going to be on the fine if you fine, whatever, whatever, that's fine. Instead, we're getting tag team match with both champions involved in it. We got Cody Rhodes returning, first of all, and Jey Uso taking on John Cena and Logan Paul, just kind of playing off of what happened at Saturday night's main event last Saturday. So tonight, Cody's first night back in WWE since WrestleMania. So he talks about how he had to, basically very similar to Bianca. He just needed to go home for a bit, kind of reflect on his actions. He did say that he's not going to hesitate on John again. So
Good.
You best stick to those words, buddy, because that was the worst part of that whole match. Like,
Yeah.
maybe second compared to Travis Scott's 21,600 minutes of going down the entrance ramp. Yeah, so Cody's out here. He's just like, hey, I had to go home, lick some wounds, talk to some friends, and be like, hey, was everything fine? Was I a good champion? Like, getting that reassurance from everybody and just kind of resetting his own self and his mindset. And yeah, now that he's back on SmackDown, he's ready to go for John Cena, and he's not going to hesitate anymore. And he's ready to give us a surprise. And that surprise is Jey Uso, who comes out, yeets everywhere and all that. They don't get to say too much on the mic until John Cena comes out. He keeps glazing up Logan Paul before Logan Paul comes out. And it's like, I'm sitting there with this segment, and I'm listening to Cena big up Logan Paul for one. And I'm like, you know what? I get it. I'm not saying that Logan was gifted everything, because you still have to work hard to maintain things. But it was just kind of odd coming from John Cena, where he's just like, oh yeah, the very definition of hustle, loyalty, and respect. I'm like,
Really
are you sure about that, buddy? But I kind of chalk that up as like, I guess he's now in delusion heel stage, which, okay, because he kept calling Cody and Jay wannabe John Cena's.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, fine.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, Logan Paul came out. I'm not gonna lie. Anytime Logan Paul gets on the mic, I kind of zone out. I just kind of tune out at that point. But he was making a few references here and there for like different things and all that. But I don't know. I wasn't really feeling this segment at all. It was just kind of bare bones. Not much to it. We do see that Logan and John are already arguing, but I feel like that's kind of a red herring going into the match.
Yeah.
Because they'll probably end up being a good team and all that stuff. A fight breaks out. Faces stand tall. I don't know. Like, that's what sucks about this whole like John Cena Cody Rhodes thing, because it's like we had so much meat going into WrestleMania. At least with like the last segment they had with each other. And then like we come back, and like all John's talking about is Logan Paul. Logan Paul, Logan Paul, Logan Paul. It's just like you gotta know your audience a little bit. Your audience does not give a shit about Logan Paul, especially in this match and like in this spotlight that he's in right now. Like nobody gives a shit at all.
Oh.
But you're gonna keep it. It's very akin to whenever Vince was trying to make the next John Cena with Roman Reigns, how he was throwing him down the ropes, just shoving it in there, telling us to eat Roman Reigns. It's 2016. Eat his essence and have him become your next god of wrestling. It's just like, no, I don't want to eat that. Like, it smells funky. And if it smells funky, it more than likely tastes funky. I don't want that right now. And that's kind of what John's doing right here. And in a way, WWE's kind of doing the same thing to an extent. Like, I'm not saying it's like, oh, just like what Vince was doing, shoving Reigns into us, but I'm getting a little bit too much Logan Paul in my wrestling at the moment. But I'm going to move on to you, Drop. What do you have to say about all this?
So, when I was heading into this, I was looking forward to it mainly because Cody Rhodes was back. And when he came back at Saturday night's main event, I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little something again, because we've been talking about SmackDown for the past couple weeks, or, you know, even ever since we last saw Cody, and we noticed that the shows felt a little off. There really isn't that, like, that one thing you're looking forward to on the show that really makes you care about anything. Like, even when it came to the whole thing with Cena and Truth, Cena wasn't there. Cena showed up a little bit with the whole Randy thing, but it was mainly Randy carrying the entire program between them. So it's like, when I saw Cody come out, I was like, okay, you know, I'm interested to see where this goes. Obviously, he's getting the same reactions as before, so that's a good thing that the fans are still with him for this ride. And when he came out there and he started everything off, I was like, okay, you know, this is good. We'll see where it goes. There was a lot of time left on the show, so I was curious to see exactly what else was going to be said. Jay comes out. I'm going to say this. From somebody at home, doing the entrance 2 times in a row is very annoying, but I can understand that they're not catering to us at home because we're watching it at home. The people that are there for the experience, so I understand that whole thing. So I'm not going to even bring that up, because I'm just beating a dead horse at this point, because we talk about that so much. But
the only thing I want to bring up with it, though, is the fact that, okay, so there was an ad break in the middle of that. So it's like, okay, Jay comes out. We'll come back and talk to Jay right now. And so usually during the ad break, like watching on a VPN or you're overseas watching it on Netflix and all that, usually if there's a match going on, they'll continue with showing the match and all that. And if it's just like an entrance or something, at least with SmackDown, they don't show it. They just go to like their little cards with like people like moving in slow motion and their little like boom, 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 boom. Like it's kind of relaxing in a way. So I at least like SmackDown for that. But you know, they're not showing any entrances or promos like Raw does on Netflix overseas and all of that. But they decide that Jay's entrance was so important for the people at home to see. And I mean, you know, quality aside from the match that I mentioned, but during Zelina and Alba Fyre's match, they had an ad break in the middle of it.
Yep.
And we didn't get to see the match. So like the people overseas didn't get to see the match. Like, how is it? Why? Who made the decision to have like us sit through Jay's entrance, you know, yeeting with the crowd and all that, and then like an actual match we don't get to see any of?
Yeah.
Like, and again, quality aside, you know, and we'll get to that match later on, but like, why was it so important for us to see an end compared to a match?
Yeah, that is a little strange, the way that they're like pacing certain things, which has been a common thing that they've been doing lately. So I'm not entirely sure like what's going on with that.
Yeah.
But it's like going back to what we were talking about before, after the whole Jay thing, you had Cena come out to interrupt the encore when it comes to Jay's entrance. And I'm just gonna come out and say it, because I'm really getting annoyed when it comes to Cena's heel turn. It's not really that good. It's really not.
Yeah.
Because
like
you look at how he's coming out, it feels very forced. It doesn't feel like John Cena. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm gonna bring up something that somebody brought up during Saturday night's main event. But the way that John Cena was talking to Jey Uso backstage, I saw somebody online, I don't know who it was, but it got a good laugh out of me. Whether it's like, why does John Cena feel like he's like in a porno or something and he's talking down to Jey Uso? When they had that whole backstage segment where it's just both of them, he's on like that little monotone voice, like he's trying to mimic Napoleon Dynamite, or he's just talking to him monotone, like trying to lead him into the bedroom or like some shit like that. And
well, he's just accessing his inner Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah. But it's like, it's just John Cena like doesn't feel like John Cena. Like it just feels like he's doing this because obviously you had that whole discussion that happened before, and also the comments I made before. Don't take that the wrong way. That was just a meme that somebody brought up online when it comes to how he was talking. Obviously, none of us believe that. It's just a joke people were trying to make for clicks. But it's like, the way that I'm seeing in this is like, obviously, you know, he does what he needs to do for business and everything, and they headed down this direction because you had that whole thing where Rock wanted to make Cody, and obviously that was a bad business decision, and John Cena decided to reel it in. Because to me, I don't know if John Cena was ever supposed to really do this. Like, it's like the way that he comes out and everything, it's like, it doesn't feel like him. Like, normally when you see John Cena on the microphone, yes, you don't have any worries or anything, but it just seems like so forced, the way that he talks, the way he comes off.
And there it is.
The exact same.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, the things that like he says, it's like you mentioned it before when you were talking about it for a little bit. Like, you want to be John Cena. This person wants to be John Cena, and I'm looking at it like, this is like, Cena, I know who you are. That's the best you can come up with. You're a wannabe John Cena. You're a wannabe John Cena. And it's like, first off, I mean, look who you're talking to, for one. Jey Uso, his family, it has been in the business for like many generations now. I don't think he's trying to be a wannabe John Cena. And then when it comes to the whole Cody Rhodes thing, I mean, I mean, Cody kind of caught you in the bag before WrestleMania, calling you out on a lot of your bullshit where you're saying he was doing this or that, but then he called you out on running out naked and do all this other kinds of shit to really flip the crowd at that one point. So I'm like, you can't keep saying the same things. You gotta like start mixing things up in a pot and say something a little bit different, because that's why, like, when we talked about Cena earlier, like when he came back after Elimination Chamber, when he did that first crowd promo, we didn't mind it because we were starting to understand who this John Cena character is, but it's just becoming very repetitive, and it's just the same things being said. And then you include Logan Paul in the mix, which I'm gonna say this, like, this one thing that he did mention at Saturday Night's Main Event, where he's like, oh, maybe having a YouTuber as World Heavyweight Champion would ruin wrestling. I feel like that was literally the very first time he actually said something with some substance that actually made sense to fit that statement, because nobody wants to see Logan Paul as world champion, and if that were to happen, that would fit that narrative that he's really trying to push. But it's like the whole thing with Logan Paul, and Logan Paul is like waffling on for so long. I don't know why. I thought
I couldn't.
Yeah, because it's
I
like,
recognized he was doing some references and all
yeah,
that, but like even then I couldn't remember them, just sitting here talking about like that's how much I just zoned out from.
Yeah, it just felt strange. It's like, okay, he's gonna say a couple things or whatever, but John Cena is like the main character here. He should be the one talking more than Logan Paul. Logan Paul's, you know, the tag partner and everything, and obviously people came there to see John outside of Cody Rhodes and Jay. Yeah. So it's like why is he on the mic for so long, like saying all these different kinds of things? I was expecting it to maybe be a minute, and it shifts back to Cena, and I was like, wow, it's like we're really ending the show like this. And I agree with you.
I looked at the clock. Yeah, I looked at the clock. There was like 2 minutes left. Yeah. I'm like, Logan Paul's still going.
And I agree with you. It's like it definitely does seem like we're getting a little bit too much Logan Paul. Because it was never like this before, where it's like every once in a while you saw him, he had a special match or whatever. He came out during special occasion, either it's to be in the Royal Rumble or qualify for Elimination Chamber, or, you know, whatever the case may be, having a little mini program, and then he goes away for a little bit. But it's like they're really trying to push this narrative here. And I did notice something with John, because body language speaks volumes. And I saw it with Cody too. Cody really seemed like he was out of it, because I looked at his face towards the end. It really seemed like he wanted to go home. And I even looked at John's face when Logan Paul came out. He didn't really look like he was that into it. Because John Cena was one people I can say you could read like a book when it comes to how he feels about something, or even during his matches when he's one of the people that's known to call out spots so fucking loud. Where it's like you could really tell like how he was feeling, like when he heard everything going on. It's like, you know what, I'm doing this because I have to and everything. But it didn't really seem like everybody was like really there with whatever was going on. And this is what we mentioned about before we talked about on our show. It just seems like you're watching an anime, you sometimes get that good filler, and then you
Yeah.
sometimes get that bad filler where it's like, okay, let me look up online when this ends so I can go back to the canon.
Yeah.
This is what
Where's my
this
filler
is.
skip episodes? Where's
Yeah.
that list at? Oh my god. Yeah, and because here's the thing, I remember my rant from Saturday where it's like, in the moment, John Cena's heel turns suck, but
Yeah.
like there's still like how do we stick the landing, and went on that whole rant, and I still hold true to that. It's
Yeah.
like everything we're saying right now is in the moment and everything. So I do at least want
Yeah.
to say that like this
Yeah.
is just in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Minds can change, feelings can change. uh, that can happen and all that.
Yep.
But man, this just sucks. And like I'm glad you said the phrase that it feels forced. Cause that's exactly what John Cena's heel turn has been for the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It has felt very forced. And like, cause that's the thing, he's still getting cheered. People aren't rightful like the boos for him after Elimination Chamber, like they were deafening with the boos. But now it's almost like it was like 10 years ago or a little bit later earlier than that, like during the damn 2010s and all that, when Cena was getting like we were getting Super Cena and all
Oh
that, and
yeah.
people were legitimately like, let's go Cena sucks and all that.
That was in the Zack
We're
Ryder
around
stuff too, right?
yeah, like around then and all. The dark ages, if you will. Um, but so we're near those levels, but it's still more cheers than anything. Like I don't know, man. It just again in the moment, it's just not hitting at all, and it feels forced, and that's the worst thing you can do for your audience is to force them something that's like yeah, we would love this, we would like this, but like make it feel natural, like Seth's heel turn right now has felt so natural because it's him
Mm.
basically crashing out
Yeah.
because of CM Punk. And that makes sense. He's obsessed with the man and he's obsessed with like trying to push the business. So it's just like, yeah, that makes sense for him to turn heel. But with Cena, like it's not hitting in that same aspect. And it really should. It's heel John Cena. I don't know, man. Just
Yeah, like
tired of it.
I thought there was going to be more groundwork here, and now I'm curious to see, okay, what's going to be happening on Monday now? What's going to be happening with next Saturday, with next Friday, leading into Saturday with all of this? Like, I
Yeah,
really don't know what to say.
I don't
And
either.
another thing to like really say is like a lot of these events are so close with each other. So that's like
Hmm.
another thing you could bring up where like it feels forced, like you're trying to cram. It's like one of those things when you're a kid where you see like you're walking through the woods or whatever and you think you could like squeeze by like this little spot because you see something in there, you're very curious, that like piques your interest. So it's like, okay, I see something in here, let's see if I can squeeze through to get in there. With these, the reason why I bring that up is because we have like Saturday night's main event was like last week, 2 weeks
Hmm.
after we have this whole thing with Money in the Bank. So it's like you're really like throwing a lot of stuff at us at once when it comes to, I mean, this right here with the whole
Hmm.
tag match next Saturday. Like it just feels like didn't have any time, just throw it there. I'm not going to
Yeah.
include the Money in the Bank because we actually had some time to breathe with that when it came to the qualifying matches and stuff.
Hmm.
And even the stuff that's been going on with Steph, you had a lot of breathing room here. This, it just came up last week, and it's almost like you're feeding yourself too much there.
Yeah. Well, like, and also too, I mean, here's the other thing. 2 weeks before Saturday Night's main event was Backlash, and I'm pretty sure we don't have much longer until. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. We got Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank next
Yep.
week, which they're also trying to shoehorn in on main roster television, which is, on one hand, fine, that's cool, but that's more of an NXT thing. But they're also putting main roster on it, but whatever, that's besides the point. Um But like, we got those happening. Not too long after this is a Saudi show coming up, Night of
Oh
Champions.
boy.
I believe that's at like the end of June. So at least we have 3 weeks until that one.
Yeah.
And then after that, you have another Saturday night's main event, which is a couple weeks after that. And after that is SummerSlam.
Oh, you got that
Like,
Evolution thing too.
and Evolution. Like there's a lot of WWE programming coming. A lot of it is, I mean, a lot of it should be top
Great
tier.
American Bash. Jesus.
And that's only WWE. That's
Yeah.
only like, oh my gosh. Just wait till a 4-hour. I forgot Dynamite next week is 4 hours.
Is it really, or is it just the 2 hours and then whatever else is taped and you see it?
They're advertising it as a 4-hour show.
The 8 to 12. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. On a school night, nonetheless.
Yeah,
How dare
Tony
you.
Tony might as like if Tony does do stuff. I apologize for we have a little tangent here.
Yeah.
But it's like if Tony
More
is
than SmackDown was.
yeah, but if Tony is doing that and if it's like labels as a special event, maybe air it at like 6 to 10.
Yeah.
I feel like you could, even though it is a lot of wrestling in one night, I feel like that's more digestible because like it's a little bit earlier. 10's that sweet spot, but that's
Yeah, well,
something.
So it's their Fighter Fest that
Yep.
they're doing.
That's the thing with Omega, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. That fun fact. That's the only match I've heard of that we're getting next.
Yep.
Is the Fatal 4-Way match, which we only have 2 participants so far that we know of. But you know, we'll set it up day before. It's fine, or
Oh
on
my
Collision that
God.
nobody watched. Oh my gosh. But yeah. See, we were talking about a whole other damn company just right there, very shortly, above heeled John Cena.
Yeah.
That should be your key. That should be your note to be like, okay, maybe we should try something else with this.
Yeah.
But at least our truth is moving on to something else because he moved on to a squash match against JC Mateo. This was set up because Solo Mateo and
As a son.
Okay, look, our truth's lines were kind of funny because like
Yeah.
our truth like walks up to him, he's just like, I don't know you, like pointing at JC and all that. It basically calling him Solo's son and how chunky he is, and he's gonna teach him a lesson in the ring. It's like, truth, I love you. You're a national treasure, but you're setting yourself up for a squiddy squaggity squash match, and that's exactly what we get. JC Mateo easily disposes of him, and I mean that's really it. There's a beatdown afterwards. Big Jim comes out to help him, so I guess we're setting up for a tag match, possibly with these guys. Maybe that's why our truth got involved, is because hey, Jimmy needs a partner that's not Jay, because he's still on this quote unquote singles run. I don't know. That's the only way I can really rationalize it. But yeah, squash match. How'd you like it?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess the only thing I really liked out of this was probably the backstage stuff, because I knew what I was getting myself into whenever we got this match to begin with. But it's like, you know, the comments backstage where you had Solo talk, you had R-Truth talking to himself, Solo butting in, R-Truth acknowledging, you know, JC Mateo, calling him Solo's son and saying if he could teach him a lesson, and it's just everything we got back there during that whole entire segment itself. I mean, that was like the real meat and potatoes for me, where it's like, okay, this was enjoyable, it was funny. I'm sure whenever my mom watches it tomorrow, because she wasn't able to watch SmackDown tonight, which I warned her beforehand, it wasn't all that. But it's like we do tend to get like some enjoyment when it comes to like the stuff that Truth does do backstage. But I mean, I can't really say much. Like,
yeah,
I wish I could, but I don't really know what to say. I mean, I guess this this is kind of like this is kind of like one of those situations where it's like you're playing Pokemon Fire Red, you beat Brock at the Pewter City Gym, you're going through that route, you get into Mount Moon, and then you run into all of those Zubats. This is that situation where you run into all those Zubats where it's like, okay, I got my gym badge. I'm heading to Sirloin City to fight Misty, and here comes a side mission.
Yeah. Like, oh, I don't want this side mission.
No.
Go away, you.
Or
Get outta here.
Link just breaking pots to find rupees. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, it's not much of anything at all. Again, we might be setting up for tag match, but cool, neat, awesome, fan flipping.
You might not be wrong about that, because it definitely felt like that towards the end.
Oh yeah. Oh, especially, I mean, again with Jimmy coming out to beat them up and all that, like, and during the triple threat match he came out too. So
I guess we could throw away that report that we talked about on Grappling with the Week about his involvement in that tag match. With Cody.
Like Logan Paul and all them.
Yeah.
Which
that's fine.
Sucks, but
whatever.
Yeah.
As long as we get through it together.
Exactly. Together as one. Speaking of being together, hey, at least Chelsea Green has some friends to keep her together, especially her face. Because we had, again, we had mentioned this earlier. Alba Fyre took on Zelina Vega in a match. This got set up because, again, I think the backstage segments really kind of made SmackDown a lot better.
Yeah.
Because this was just gold right here. Because reports are coming out that Chelsea Green was going to start doing like the mask thing.
Yeah.
For the broken nose that happened to her last week. But I love how the setup for this, because like she walks up to Nick Aldis, but yeah, Piper Niven, who has like this picture of Chelsea on a stick, and she like has it over Chelsea's face, and Nick Aldis, they do a bit of a shtick with it, where he's just like, "Oh, I need to talk to you face to face" and all that, and he gets rid of the first Chelsea mask. And Chelsea like ducks down, and then you just have Alba Fyre just come right in with another one. It's like, okay, this is great, girls. And then Nick Aldis does another thing where it's just like, not like, I forgot the line he made, but oh my gosh, it got a kick out of me. And we get the reveal that Chelsea, she's got a mask on, red, white, and blue, and all that, and her face is also bruised up underneath it. So cool. She could really work with a gimmick like that. Because again, she knows how to maximize her minutes when she's on TV. You know, like she uses her time wisely.
Yeah.
But yeah, she wants some vengeance on Zelina. She wants title stripped from her. She wants her beaten down, fired, all this stuff. But unfortunately, Nick Aldis can't do all that. Instead, he makes a match between Zelina and Alba Fyre. Match was alright. I mean, it sucks because like you literally gave your U.S. champion first. Yeah, that's the other thing. You gave your U.S. champion a jobber entrance.
Dude,
even though she gets like almost no pop, which sucks.
Did they accidentally play the SmackDown theme for her entrance?
I was wondering the same thing, because that did not sound like the same song that she had.
Yeah, because like they sound so similar, but for some reason, when she came out tonight and she was waiting for Chelsea to come out, I could have sworn I heard Mega the Stallion.
Yeah.
I could have sworn I heard it.
Yeah, it sounded eerily like that, which Def Rebel. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I mean, the match, it did nothing for me.
A little vortex, the vortex.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. It's like, you know, as much as I love Chelsea Green,
yep,
they do this thing with her, where like they keep her with somebody for way too long.
Yep,
they did the same thing. I mean, they did the same freaking thing with her and Michin, and now they're kind of doing that with her and Zelina. They've been doing this since, if I recall, before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And it's already going to be June on Sunday, everybody.
Yep.
So that's been, what, 4 months that she's kind of been teasing with Zelina? Because that's the thing. We thought their match was going to be at WrestleMania, but that ended up not being the case.
Yeah, because I remember when she went through that transfer window, the first thing she did was tease something with her. So we've been on board with that ever since.
Yeah, exactly. So we just got to move on. Can we move on, please?
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping when they get Julia involved with this and she takes the title off of Zelina, which I definitely feel like that's where the plane is landing. I really hope we don't start doing the same thing with Julia and Chelsea Green. Like, we need to start stemming away from that. We need to have more substance with the Secret Harvest, so they're not just surrounded by like this one person, which is don't get me wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of the draft because it literally feels like a waste of time, but it's also one of the very reasons why I'm kind of hoping we get it eventually, because a lot of these people that we've seen Chelsea butt heads with because she's not really involved in the main event picture, pretty much like a rotation of like the same people. So I kind of want that little scramble so she has more things to work with. But it's like the whole thing with the match itself. I mean, one thing I didn't mention, I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it. I don't know if it was off air or in the beginning or whatever. I don't remember. But I did mention how this match definitely felt like it went on for way too long, which is something that I've been noticing as of recent when it comes to these Zelina matches. Not saying that she doesn't deserve to be out there and do her thing, but it definitely seems like this match didn't need to go as long as it did. Like, it's not like the main event where we had them competing for the the Money in the Bank qualifying match to get into the match itself to get the briefcase. Because it makes sense why you have all those guys hooping around the ring for so long as they did, because they're really trying to sell that match, and they're really trying to sell, you know, that big moment whenever somebody gets pinned to get qualified in there. I mean, this to me, like, I'm actually gonna look up in a little bit like exactly how long this match was, but it felt like a good 13 or so minutes or something. It's definitely double digits this match was going on for.
Well, like, because again, they had an ad break.
Yeah.
And those are at least 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just I'm ready to move on with the U.S. title.
Okay. So
because that's the thing.
It was 11 minutes and 5 seconds.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
And it kind of felt like 15 minutes.
It really did. It really did.
Which doesn't seem like much longer, but
yeah,
you can kind of tell with a long match how it feels and all that.
Yep.
But shoot, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, with like the whole Chelsea Green Secret Harvest thing. I mean, you could just slap the tag titles on them. That way they can mosey through.
I kid you not, I actually forgot those things existed until you mentioned
it. See, exactly, but whatever. I guess that's just.
Don't worry, Watkins. We want to put Liv Morgan in a qualifying match to go for a title when Charity has one.
Look. As long as she doesn't pin Stephanie, I'll be fine.
Oh yeah, whatever. Stephanie already took a loss that was a little up in the air, but
hopefully we're not doing that at least again. She's moving on to the main roster.
Vash had 2 to 3 months. How this shit's been going on.
I want to move on. I want to move on with my life.
Gosh. Liv Morgan does sell tickets, but so does the La Primera.
Yeah. Stephanie.
You also got Rhea there too, so Rhea, just having Rhea part of that match is going to sell out the whole entire thing.
I saw somebody say that they wanted Liv to win the title back, and then immediately have cash in on her.
Yeah,
but then have it be a failed cash in.
Yeah. See, I noticed this whole narrative a lot of people been saying about Rhea. I'm just going to bring it up briefly about her winning the Money in the briefcase. To me, it doesn't make any sense, because if you really want to get that win on EO, it has to be done organically, not just a cash in to get it done, because it's something that she's been struggling with for years. So it's really hard for somebody to convince me that she needs to win that briefcase.
Yeah, exactly. Unless, again, it's just one of those things where it's just like, all right, well, you need another accolade.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, that's definitely another thing they factor in there.
Yeah, which again, I mean, I saw that idea of her being the first failed cash in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of tantalizing, because imagine the crash out if that were to happen to Rhea Ripley of all people.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty big name you're throwing out there to the Piranhas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But speaking of big names, or future big names at least, a random tag match we had here, mainly to again build up for Worlds Collide. We had Ray Fenix and Javon Evans taking on Los Garza. So this actually marks,
Yeah, that
I
caught me off
believe,
guard.
Javon's. What was that?
That caught me off guard when I saw that. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, same here. I was like, this match can cook. And I mean, they did cook a bit. They did cook a bit. Unfortunate that it kind of ended up being in that middle hour of SmackDown, which at the time I'm just like, oh my god, it's only 9 o'clock. Oh no! So that kind of took me out a little bit of it, but I do at least want to say that I thought it was a good match.
Oh yeah,
Um, but again, it's just here to advertise the show next week because you had Ethan Page out there on commentary, which he felt very awkward on commentary at times, but it felt like he had nerves going on,
yeah,
so he probably didn't want to say too much. I don't know how often he's on
and not much. Like,
commentary.
yeah, like every once in a while he is on NXT. That's mainly if it's like a number one contendership. Like this was like a reoccurring theme when he was champion, when he was NXT champion. That was like really like
Right.
the last time where he was really on commentary.
Yeah, but this was like his first time on the main roster, wasn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I said the comment about like the nerves and all. Um, that's just what it seemed like to me. But he did get involved in the match, kind of getting after the baby faces because they're both going to be in a fatal 4-way for his North American title. I'm blanking on the name of the guy going to be part of it, but
Oh, so we have.
yeah.
I know it's Javon Evans,
Hmm.
Ethan Page, Ray Phoenix, and something kid.
Yeah. Um, we'll look that up
Yeah.
as we're talking. But
Yeah.
Job, why don't you talk to me about the match? And I'll look that up quick.
Okay. So when I was looking at this match on paper, I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting because we're getting Ray Phoenix, which you know is a really good wrestler. We're getting Javon Evans, which he's been doing very well this year, especially that triple threat match he had with Trick and Oba at Stand and Deliver, which was personally like my favorite match out of that card. And when he saw they were going up against Las Garza, I was like, okay, you know, this is going to be a good showcase match, especially when it comes to Javon Evans, when it comes to really showing what he's made of out there. And I don't know why I was thinking this when I saw Javon come out there, but I just realized that dude's really tall. I didn't realize he was over like 6 feet or so, but that dude's really tall.
Mm-hmm.
So just knowing like the kind of wrestler he is in the ring and the kind of stunts that he pulls in the ring, that's just pretty impressive.
Oh my god, yeah! Like the dude can, what is it, bouncy? He's a bouncy boy or whatever.
Yeah, this is his whole stick is like
I like that.
Bouncy.
I like that a lot. By the way, it's Laredo Kid.
Okay. Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
I heard. I'm not
stuff.
familiar with him, but I did hear some good things about him from people online. So I'm gonna take what they said and listen because I do believe he's probably a really good wrestler because there's a lot of talented luchadors over there. So I'm not gonna ignore that. I do believe this could be a potential show stealer this weekend if you throw a lot of those guys in there. But it's like my initial thoughts heading into there on paper, like I said, it looked good. And I like how the guys were able to get their moments within the match itself.
Yeah.
But other than like a few spots, so like the match was great, but I just felt like I wasn't fully absorbed.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like I wasn't like into it as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
Which again, which is weird to say, even though we're saying it was a great match. It's one of those things where it's just like objectively, and yes, I'm using these words here, ladies and gentlemen. Objectively, it was a great match, but in the subjective text, it didn't really hit like it should have. Oh, as I adjust myself. But I think that's all we got to say about that fun little nugget.
Oh
Our
boy.
last little bit is basically a quickfire segment. I mean, the Street Profits come out and they're running down about what happened this week, where their tag match against Fraxium was interrupted by the Wyatt. And they're talking about how like they run the division, that they'll defend the titles against anyone, and blah blah blah. Whatever you've heard from many champions in the past, the Street Profits has said it tonight. Fraxium come out and they're like, they kind of start having a back and forth where it's just like, no, we had you guys won until the Wyatt came out. No, we had you guys beat
Say,
until the Wyatts came out.
Cut to the next.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you just cut there, go right to Motor City Machine Guns, who are like, hey, y'all never beat us for the titles. We won our shot. Cut all that to DIY coming out with, I guess Candice LeRae is going to be acting as their manager. And I kind of felt bad for her because, like, she had mentioned to Motor City Machine Guns, hey, just because you guys just got here, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of tried to pull it around on her. But then I'm sitting here on my couch and I'm thinking, wait, but she was on the main roster before you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was just gone for a few months, but
Yeah.
like, it's not like this is her first time here. What? Nani? What?
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh. A whole lot of nothing because they're all just arguing, bickering about who wants the title shot and all that. And when we try to have a moment of silence for the SmackDown Tag Division led by DIY, that's when the Wyatts come back. They beat up everybody, and we get this creepy message later on with the old like VHS kind of staticky version of it, where you have Uncle Howdy just being like, "Hey, we're not gonna stop until we get what we're owed." So I'm assuming this is leading to them going for the tag titles, which, oh, okay, fine, I guess. If they were honestly, if they were to have any titles, just give them the tag titles, I guess. But even then, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, out of all the good that the tag done, the past 2 weeks have not. It's gotten us hyped for the Wyatts to at least be back. That's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a fun match. But it's like you do two segments that are basically the same thing. One of them was during your main event match.
Yep.
The other just again the same thing, except hey, we're talking instead of fighting. I don't really know how to talk about this because it's just like they do this every time. They did this when Bray came back for a bit. Like when he came back after like he wasn't the Fiend anymore.
Yeah.
You know, the Fiend's gone.
The humanized.
This new Bray Wyatt. Mm-hmm.
It was more humanized.
Yeah, exactly. But like they were plodding along with it. One where didn't we do this last week? It happened when the Wyatt Six came back, where like they started doing stuff. It's like, okay, now they're doing all this stuff with Chad Gable. Can we move on? We're actually going to move on. Doesn't go anywhere because somebody got hurt and all that. Now we're getting to the same point where it's like, all right, I know it's only 2 weeks in, but you did 2 weeks of the same thing. When are we going to do something more? How is this going to evolve? It's like, is it going to evolve with all the teams facing off with each other for the tag titles, like some gauntlet match or like an eliminator match? And don't worry, I don't mean championship. I'm a team elimination match. So don't worry.
Imagine that.
Don't worry. I'm not throwing a championship eliminator into WWE land. I don't know, man. Just it'll be odd to see if the Wyatts do get the titles.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just all depends on what the direction that they want to take the Wyatts.
Yeah, so when it comes to how I feel about this, I really didn't care. I mean, this is literally the exact same thing we saw last week, where you had them come out in the end to make a statement. Again, nothing different. And we got to really switch up this whole entire mission statement, because this was the kind of mission statements they made before the injuries and the other feuds that they've been a part of. Like, I really want to get invested in this thing, but I'm really not. Not saying I don't care about the characters. Like, I care about Bo and what he's trying to do for his brother, because he mentioned before that him and Bray really wanted to pursue this thing, so he's just carrying on that legacy. That whole thing I understand, but creative is really keeping me far away from this when it comes to having some sort of like investment in this where I could actually care with whatever's going on. Because like you have these little talking segments, not even like super long or anything, but it's like you have the tag division come out, say a few words, and then all of a sudden Wyatt Six appears. It's almost like you're hitting like one of those one hit KO moves in Pokemon, like Fissure or something, where it's like you got Uncle Howdy and the rest of them coming out to hit that one KO move to take out all the tag teams again, to just do exactly what we did to end off SmackDown next week. So it's like I really don't know how I'm gonna get invested in this. And even with like the whole thing with Alexa Bliss, just looking at what she's doing right now, I don't really think she really needs to be a part of it. And I know it's her whole thing with the Wyatt Six initially. Well, just basically the whole thing with Bray initially all those years ago. But if you're looking at what she's doing right now, getting into Tiffany's face, really trying to get under her skin, really trying to push Charlotte down a different path so we can get a little bit more invested with Charlotte, which it is working, because I am very intrigued to see what Charlotte is doing under Alexa's guidance to really forge a path for her to go down that doesn't involve a world title. But if you look at everything that Alexa is doing right now, I'm more invested with whatever she's doing. So it's like, I don't really think she needs to be a part of this, because, I mean, to me, it's like she's always been a lot bigger than this whole thing. But if you look at what she's doing, it's like, okay, she has her footing on a lot of things where you're invested with what she's doing with Tiffany, or whatever's going on with Money in Bank. You're invested with this whole storyline with Charlotte. So it's like, you look at her, she's doing good. And then you look at the rest of the Wyatt Six and everything, it's like, okay, what are we going to do here? We're just going to put them in the tag division and get the titles. It's like, okay, what's going to happen when they win the titles? Like, I'm not really a big fan of that to begin with, because I feel like they're the kind of group that doesn't need it, because that was one of the biggest complaints when The Fiend won the title, because The Fiend, it was supposed to be this special attraction. Didn't necessarily need to throw a title at it, because that sort of took away the whole special thing about The Fiend.
Yeah.
Which is, again, go back to 2019 when it comes to the unfortunate circumstances that The Fiend had to go through at Rollins and the whole burial, which I will say, it was a burial with the whole fucking Goldberg thing. I don't know what the fucking point of that was.
Yeah.
But
no,
it's like,
that.
I just don't know what they're doing, because I get they're trying to do something. I get it. But it's like, I don't know as of now what they're going to do to really bring me in there, because I want to care. But it's so hard for me to care.
Yeah. And I think what eases me with them like winning a title is at least compared to the Fiend, is with the Fiend, he was more like a Jason Voorhees or like a Michael Myers type character, where it's like he's kind of invincible, no matter how many toy mallets you throw at him, he's gonna get back up no matter what.
Yeah.
And at least with the Wyatts, they seem more human than that. Like, there's not a lot of the supernatural stuff. It's more of them just kind of being creepy fuckers, with lack of a better term. So, but they're still kind of like human in a way. So, again, we're not getting the supernatural stuff with it. So it's like I can tolerate that more with them holding a title compared to the Fiend, because at least they could eat a pinfall. Like, I would believe that. Like, I would believe Dexter Loomis taking a pinfall loss for the tag titles more than the Fiend getting pinned. Or no, he didn't even get pinned. The referee just stopped the match because of Toy Hammer. Like, yeah, I could believe that a lot more. Or you had brought up Goldberg. Like, yeah, I could believe the Wyatts losing the tag titles compared to the Fiend basically getting squashed by Goldberg.
Yeah.
Like,
Just bringing that up got me all depressed. I'm not literally depressed, but God, that was fucking sad.
yeah. Vash, be glad you weren't watching at that time.
Yeah.
Be
Imagine we
glad
had to
weren't
cover.
covering it that time.
I'm very curious if we were around back then covering this shit, how things would be now.
Oh my god.
Imagine like those legendary streams we'd have where we would get a comment every day, or people pinpointing a certain comment that we said, or people clip farming what we said about the Hell in a Cell 2019.
Oh my god. It was that. No, what people would not have liked me if they if remember I think it was that year, Extreme Rules, when it was Bailey versus Alexa with
Yeah.
a kendo stick on a pole match.
Oh god.
And you know what? Very akin to what Cody Rhodes did, except for stupider reasons than Cody. Bailey literally, for those who didn't watch back then, Bailey literally had the kendo stick in her hand, and all she had to do was hit Alexa Bliss and just win the match after doing her finish and all that. And she goes up to hit Alexa, but she stops and hesitates. And she's like, I can't do it. And she drops, I'm pretty sure she drops the kendo stick. And then Alexa Bliss immediately got it, started hitting Bailey with it, and won the match. Fucking stupid, but that's in the past. But that's the sad part is Cody literally did the same thing at WrestleMania. Like, we're nearing those levels. I'm not saying we're at those levels, but at least with a SmackDown like this, it doesn't really sit well with me. Because, like, yeah, we had some standout moments and all that. Some of the backstage stuff was pretty good as well, kind of pushing those stories forward through that. But we're nearing that level right now. It's like, there are certain high spots in the show, but the low parts are getting to that really low level where it's just like, okay, why am I watching this? Like, I could easily just be playing. I could be playing GTA 5 right now, for example, getting ready for GTA 6 a year from now, and I could just be checking on Twitter, the Twitter updates of what's going on. Like, this was one of those shows. This was a Twitter show. That's what I refer to those as. It's
actually,
just like, I can catch up on Twitter and feel like I watched all 3 hours. That's what tonight was.
Not wrong.
It was an email. It was a freaking email compared to a meeting. Like, you could have said this in the email.
Literally felt, honestly, you're probably not wrong. You probably, me and you could have, like, you could have went off and I could have went off and did something later on.
Yeah.
I mean, before the show or whatever, and then we would have come back later. We would have missed the damn thing.
Yeah. Probably would have said the same shit we're saying right now.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like, except for some of the more nuanced stuff, but that's whatever. Because again, I don't want to take too much away from it, because there was some good stuff in it.
Yeah, there was.
I did like both. Well, I like the men's qualifying match a lot more. I thought Javon Evans having this moment on the main roster was really good. It's a shame he had to take the pinfall, but I mean that's what you do in your home city, town, state. I'm not too familiar with Javon Evans, so sorry about that, everybody. But it was good that he at least got his moment tonight, I think. But and of course Chelsea Green's character work, at least that was pretty good. But other than that, I mean, Twitter show, that's all it was. What about you, Drop? What did you think of SmackDown?
So when it comes to my initial thoughts on the show, really, there was a few things in here, like you said, when it comes to how I felt about certain things, like when it comes to the tension that we've seen from different parties of Jacob Fatu and whatever's going on with Solo and Jake and JC Mateo and Carmelo and Miz, and then the stuff with Naomi, and then the little bit with Cody in the beginning, and then the little comment he made towards the end about him shining his peacemaker got a good laugh on me. I will say that.
It did,
But
yeah.
it's like, other than that though, I mean, a little tidbit. I mean, also can't forget to mention this, the whole thing with Julia and what her
Mhm.
statement is. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, how I felt.
Yeah. I mean, we got another event next week. We got Money in the Bank next week and Worlds Collide.
Oh
So
boy,
at least Money in the Bank, I at least that starts at 7. So
yeah, it is
that's
true.
something. So that's gonna be a good fun time and all that. But hopefully you guys out there had a good fun time as much as we did. I mean, hey, again, I thought this was better than last week. I mean, hell, we went 50 minutes longer than last week. That's
Yeah,
at
we
least
definitely
something,
did. Yeah, because we had a
you
lot.
know.
Our show last week was like a lot shorter than this
Oh my
compared
gosh.
to everything that was
Yeah.
going on.
God, last week
That whole
was
weekend was rough for like WWE
it really was.
outside of like Battleground. I mean, that whole weekend was
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. Yeah, because at least Battleground was pretty good
Yeah.
when I saw, and I mean the other company did pretty good as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, so let us know in the chat as we are logging off here. How you've thought of SmackDown, everything you think might be happening or moving forward, and all that. Let us know down in the chat, or if you're watching the VOD, let us know in the comments, and we'll try to talk to everybody. We'll try to have an open discussion, an open forum, if you will, when we're talking about our Friday night SmackDowns and all that. But yeah, that's basically the end of our show here. So thank you everyone for coming out tonight and talking to us about Smack Diggity Down. Hopefully next week is a little better. Hopefully Raw's better too.
Yeah.
And hopefully Money in the Bank is a banger show. I'm really hoping it is. I mean,
Got
we've
the
got like 4 matches, I think,
yeah,
announced.
got my Stephanie Becker Mondays to look forward to.
And Julia Fridays. So
Yeah.
oh no. Wait,
Jordan
our
Grace
mascot.
eventually.
Oh, that's right. See, she could have the U.S. title, dude. Her and Julia in a program for the U.S.
They
title.
could easily revisit that.
Yo, all right. See, I'm more hyped for what's to come, possibly, and all. But yeah. So thank you again, everybody, for checking out the podcast, checking us out, whether you're listening to us morning, afternoon, or night. Hey, thank you for listening and tuning in to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not check out all of our social media accounts? They are all the ads that you see on your screen in the yellow section. We got at Animal We Studio, that is the parent company of Weebs of the Ring. You got at Legendy Vash. I know Vash isn't here tonight. He had to take care of some important phone calls about cars and trains, planes. I don't know. I guess he's traveling somewhere. Who knows? Maybe picking up the Rock for some sort of peacemaker rally
Yeah.
or
I'm
something. I don't know.
surprised he's still working with The Rock after all this shit he's been
I know,
causing.
right?
But I will say this about The Rock because I don't know how much longer Bash is going to stay with The Rock because The Rock striked out like 3 times. He striked
Mhm.
out with the whole thing about trying to get Cody Rhodes heel. He hyped up New Orleans. He fucked that up. I mean, what pretty much just got ripped away from him after hyping everybody up about it, and then he didn't show up at WrestleMania. So I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what you're trying to gain from this, Vash. I mean, let us know like what's the end goal here when it comes to this partnership because based on everything that your boss has been doing so well, I mean, doesn't really seem like it's benefiting everyone. That's how he gets away with it is the
Mhm.
payment when it comes to the money and everything. That's how he tries to sugarcoat stuff. It's like, you know what? I'll give you a bad rep, but I'll give you a good payment. That's basically what he's trying to do. He's
Yeah. And I
basically
mean,
trying to destroy everything, like the whole Black Adam situation, DC
yeah.
Universe, everything.
Look, everything he touches gets destroyed.
Yeah.
Seriously, stop it, Rock. Stop it, Rocky. Tired of it. Tired of all that. But hey, you can always follow Drop This Box at Drop This Box. You can follow me at Watkins MW, and of course at Weebs of the Ring on all the social medias. But we also use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring for a lot of the posts we do and keeping the conversation going on social medias. That helps us check you out, helps you check us out, and get everything trending as well as it does. But it's also a good way to give us feedback, because feedback is always appreciated, so we can continue to up our game and provide you with a great experience unlike anything you've ever seen. Weebs of the Ring is presented by Anima We Studio. Thanks to our production team for all of their hard work. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you on Monday for Monday Night Raw.
You guys.